the first order of business that he said when Howard Stern asked him when he knew it was done with New England, and the point that he mentioned as most likely for it was prior to the season, and I know you've been talking about that quite a bit, so I give you the floor on what you thought of that.
Confirmation just of where things were, and you heard it on the first day of training camp. His irritation was not having a deal at that point, that it was confirming for him that they don't want me around through my 43-year-old season. As I've told them, as they've told me that they would do, they're not going to do it. They were going to give me the Drew Brees deal for $2 and $50, and they're not doing it. They're not going to guarantee that second year. And that's when he kind of lobbed it across and said, ask Mr. Kraft, jokingly. And that was when he was turning, look, I'm done playing nice here. I'm done beating around the bush. You tell me why I'm not getting an extension. So I thought that was concrete. And also I think that, what was going on behind the scenes was more rancor, that there was a discussion that had to take place and an extension that had to be given and a raise that had to be given before the Patriots were sure that Tom Brady was going to participate throughout the preseason and not walk away from football, quite honestly. And they took care of that post-haste when I think it started to dawn on people how pissed he was. So
he was playing last. Did you get a sense during last season that this was a guy? And at what points did you have it in your idea confirmed that this was a guy he's playing throughout his last season in New England?
In Tennessee, when the Patriots went down there for their training camp meetings with Tennessee, and he basically was saying, look, we're just, I'm just an employee here. They don't ask me questions. They don't ask me about personnel. I'm not here to coach. He was really divesting himself, I thought, of the responsibilities that he wanted to have as a culture cultivator, as an on-field coach, because the team had started to marginalize him. So that's when I was like, oh boy, yeah, he is embracing you don't want me around? Well, I'll just be another cog in the machine. I'm employee number 12 over here working out of my locker. That was when I started to see it, and you saw it, Rich, time week in and week out, his inability to polish the turd that was the offense in his post game. He just wasn't going to do it.
Let's get into that. By the way, that was my favorite album. And I think it was during the high school years. Polish the Turd. Yeah, they were great. They were terrific.
They were a great band. We remember some of their great songs.
Yeah. Right.
Never mind.
Right.
I could come up with a couple.
Their I guess revival tour, Polish the Turd in 2019. The big hit was New England's receiving core, clearly. So
yeah, Polish the Turd. We're still sitting here.
He did hit that. We're still sitting here. That's great. Or running the wrong route. So Brady kind of touched on that today, didn't he, with Howard?
Yes, and I thought that was telling too. And it was interesting to hear him say that Bill would, be on the same page with him. But, this wasn't related. So many people on the timelines up here. I'm watching the timelines of folks that I'm on the beat with and the fans who are, very involved and very up to date on things. And they're like, that's N'Keal Harry. No, it's Joey Galloway. It's, you name it over the course of time. It's Chad Jackson. It's N'Keal Harry now. But it's always that. It's Ben Watson when Ben Watson started. It's like, what the hell is Ben Watson doing? It's all of those guys. He was not going to accept close enough. And he worked for a coach who made that mindset possible for him. Close enough ain't going to cut it. I'm not throwing it to the guy, Bill. Yeah, you're right. You know what? We'll go get Rashae Caldwell, Jabbar Gaffney. They know where to go. It might not be that great, but at least they know where they're supposed to be. And that's what they would do.
And so you think that's why he chose the Bucs? Because there's Godwin, there's Evans. I mean, at least he knows that. At least,
honestly, I think there was a warm embrace, more than the players who he can say, well, maybe I can work with them. Maybe I'm going to have to look at some routes that I want to run at 14 that I run at 17. But at least I know they want me there. At least I know that it's 2 years. It's at least the commitment that they want me there. So if I yell at these guys, I can yell at them without the coach is looking at me and going, "You're a short timer, man. You're only here for this year. We'll do the coaching of N'Keal Harry because you're going to be here for 1/8 of his career, pal. So we'll take care of that." That's not going to happen in Tampa. They will say it's okay for you to yell at these guys and teach them how to do their jobs. Really, that's the essence of it. Tom realized he was a short timer in New England.
Wow.
And that they took some of his ability to coach, yell at, instruct away. And he wasn't there in the Patriots' defense. He wasn't there in the OTAs and minicamp. Well, he was there for minicamp, but he wasn't there for a lot of the stuff where stuff was put in. So they needed to know who to look to. And they needed to look to Josh. They needed to look to Joe Judge, who was wide receivers coach, and not to Tom Brady, who might only be there for the next 4 months, which is what happened.
So let me put a pin in the OTA stuff in a second, because he did hit on that and explained why he wasn't at OTAs, and it was a family, I guess, decision or issue, however you want to put it. So are you telling me that the 6-time Super Bowl winner, the guy who took him to, let's get this right, 9, correct?
Yes.
In 20 years, that guy was viewed as a short timer because everybody knew what time it was, that Brady mentioned in the Howard Stern interview today, that he pinpointed last summer as the time where he realized he wasn't coming back, and was told, don't get on these kids, don't coach them up, don't be Tom Brady red ass with these guys because we'll handle that. Is that what you were telling me, Tom? Really?
Yeah, it was made pretty clear to him that they really didn't need the negativity. Now, was he told don't yell at anyone ever? If he was, he didn't do a good job of that. But I remember clearly during that Tennessee training camp joint session that they had, there was a play, and I think it was Jacoby Myers, might have been Gunner, one of the guys, could have been whoever the kid was who ended up with the Jets, Braxton Berrios. He was lined up on the wrong side. And Brady normally, as we watch in a game, will tell that guy to get to the other side. Instead, it was really telling. He looked at Josh and pointed at the player. And then Brady just stood there with his hands on his hips, and Josh went over, told the kid to get to the other side, and the kid went to the other side. And then the play commenced. And again, I don't blame the Patriots for doing that in some ways as coaches. But that is, you sat there in one of the most telling aspects, I thought, of Tom Brady's relationship with Bill Belichick. You sat at that same table, Rich, and watched Brady talk about the relationship that he had with Bill and that Manning had with his teams. And somewhat enviously, it seemed at times, the control that Peyton had that Brady didn't. And at 42, it was even less so.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.